Well, hello and welcome all you wonderful people out there in YouTube land to the Texas Special YouTube channel. For this December 2025 O-Scale Locomotive Review, we take a look at a Lionel 280 Consolidation steam locomotive and tender. This is a early 2000s model locomotive. This is TMCC equipped. So just going off the rundown on the box, you have directional lighting, command control equipped, as I already mentioned, rail sounds and crew talk, tower comm, electro coupler on the tender, Dynachuff, and the die cast tender body and trucks. So let's open up the box and get this thing out. I have ran this already, full disclosure, and it is a dream and a half. So this engine comes inside the master carton here. You have two foam cradles, and we'll shove that aside out of the way. So you have these two foam cradles in which the engine is packaged, engine and tender separately. So let's take a look. Now this is not a pristine model. There are some cosmetic imperfections, but everything does work as intended. So here you have some spare traction tires packaged in with the tender. As well as your requisite snack pack. Don't actually eat that. Use these little ribbons here to gently wiggle this bad boy out. And as I said, there are some minor cosmetic defects on this unit. So starting here with the handrail, the handrail is kind of damaged. It's not damaged, it's just it needs to be popped back in place, which I'll go ahead and do that right now, or attempt to. There we go. So this was dislodged, all right, and I just now noticed that that's all it was. So you have a handrail here, you have UP 324, 9,000 gallons. You've got a separately applied, non-operating coupler cut lever here on the pilot. The pilot is die-cast metal, it's smooth, there's no safety tread. You do have polling pockets here and here. This is the electro coupler. The rear headlight, it does operate. I can't remember if the number boards operate or not, but we'll see that here momentarily. Looking at the top of the tender here, you see this nice wood grain detailing, the walkway. That is your signal sound and rail sound switch right there. I have it set to rail sounds. This is the volume control knob. So twisting it this way, twisting it clockwise increases the volume, and twisting it counterclockwise decreases the volume. There's another cosmetic imperfection I was talking about. This handrail here is dislodged, which that's not a big deal. Some super glue take care of that. Looking at the underside of the tender, you see the speaker here. You have a air brake piston. You have the main and service and emergency reservoir, and you have some hose detailing, hose and airline detailing along the underside of the tender and along the side of the tender body here, which I hope you can see that. I'm really trying, guys. Another little minor cosmetic defect, you can see that this stirrup step here is twisted all to hell. But, oh well, it is what it is. The engine runs great, and I got it for $200, so I can't be mad at some minor cosmetic imperfections. Here is the actual locomotive itself. Now I'll do the same thing here. I'll pull it out with these little blue ribbons. And the first thing you notice, or rather the first thing I notice, other than how large it is, I'm trying to do this quickly because my camera battery is running out, is you have these separately applied handrails here on the back of the cab. You've got the fireman sticking his hand out, I guess, to wave at some foamers. You have this nice piping detail all along the side of the firebox here, some nice rivet detail on the firebox. You have this big, huge tank. I'm not 100% sure what that is for, so if anybody out there is, feel free to let me know. The tires on the drive wheels are chemically darkened metal. You've got a lot of cast-on detailing along the boiler, but it's nicely done, rather tastefully done. You have your whistle, safety pop-off valve, you have a free-swinging bell, of course the 324 and engine classification detailing right here, 324 on the steam dome, and 324 on the number boards with the X in front of it, which is prototypically correct practice for Union Pacific and Southern Pacific steam locomotives. The builder's plate is legible. The drive rods could be a little bit more detailed. It's kind of austere with your valve gear detailing, but whatever. It is what it is. You have the air compressor here, which is one of the most striking details, in my opinion, on this model here on the fireman side of the engine. So we'll flip this guy over. Take a look at the engineer side. You see there's not a whole lot of difference. You have the injector here. You have a brake piston here for the steam locomotive itself and the brake rod and whatnot. And you have the lines running from the tender to the injector to the boiler. Looking inside of the cab, I hope I can get a good shot of this with the lighting as it is. You can see there's some detail in there. The lighting's fighting me. I promise you there's some detailing in there. There's some, it's rather austere and bare bones, but there's some gauge, there's some gauges and piping, and of course the firebox door is open with cast on firebox, clamshell type firebox doors cast in an open position to show the red LED glowing fire effect. On the front of the engine here, you can see both of the number boards are there and intact. You can see the marker lights, the class lights here, little small separately applied grab iron here, 325, 325 headlight, and you got some pretty good detailing along the smoke box and smoke box door. You have another non-operating separately applied coupler cut lever right here, a scale non-operating coupler that has been bent upwards, and a small cow catcher with a footboard for a brakeman. These locomotives early in their career were a jack-of-all-trades type engine. They were used on the main line, they were used on passenger trains, they were used on locals, they were used in the yard. Towards the end of their careers and the end of the steam era, these were exclusively yard engines / local service engines. We're going to throw this guy on, oh, my bad. So to connect the engine, if you don't know, slide that over. You have this right here, this little loop. This little loop goes into this little hook on the drawbar. This plug here slips in right there. There's a little plug, you plug it in. It couldn't be more simple. Now that I've explained that, we're going to throw this guy on the railroad and run it around the TexLa O-gauge modular layout.